Hi, I'm Chuck Gibson. This is Loveland Beacon Talks. Today I'm joined by Jill Brinck. She is Executive Director of CancerFree Kids. Today she'll share with us the story of how Paxtons golf outing for CancerFree Kids impacts their mission to fund pediatric cancer research and the fight to find gentler treatments and a cure for kids' cancer. Now, it is my pleasure to welcome our special guest, Jill Brinck from CancerFree Kids. Well, Jill Brinck, thank you so much for joining us on Loveland Beacon Talks to share a little bit more of the story about the Paxtons golf outing from back in June. As we talk right now, it's actually Wednesday, and I think I lost track, but I think July 19th, right?
That's right. Thanks so much for having me, Chuck. Really appreciate it.
But and again, since we're talking on Wednesday, and looking back at what happened in June on that weekend of Friday, Saturday, and then the corporate outing part of a Monday for the Paxtons golf outing, we also know that just this past Monday, the ceremonial check presentation, or we could call it the formal check presentation, took place. So we now know that that was $85,000 raised for CancerFree Kids.
Yeah, it's really incredible. What that team continues to do year after year, those are dollars that go straight to the bottom line, straight to the research, to help fuel our mission. And it's, the committee does all the heavy lifting for this event, and it's really become one of the biggest highlights of our summer by far is, coming back year after year and have just built such a incredible base of supporters that are helping to drive that. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful few days.
Yeah, well, and I know you're there. It's been fortunate for me as part of Loveland Beacon putting a team together and participating on Saturday, and having covered this even before you were here, Jill.
Yeah, it's been a long way longer than I have.
Yeah, well, I think that was the 18th, and I've actually covered 17 of those Paxtons golf outings. So
that's awesome.
But even for you, Jill, this was the fourth one, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
And you've seen even in the 4 years, you've seen it grow from just it grew to 2 days right when you came, with the Friday flight and the Saturday flight of golfers. But now you've even seen it grow in these 4 years, where the last couple of years the third day is added. I mean, what does that mean to you to see that continued growth for this outing and the people coming out for CancerFree Kids?
Chuck, it's so humbling seeing that this committee just continues to push and continues to push the needle forward, and no shortage of efforts to bring new people into the table. And you think about those statistics, and that growth came over COVID, right? So You're coming over the course of the pandemic and all the challenges and pivots that took, but yet through that we added 2 more days to the overall event, and the year over year growth has just been really incredible. And I think that speaks to the committee and their passion and loyalty and dedication. Their servant leadership is just truly incredible to help, ultimately fuel our mission and help these kids with cancer. And we're truly, it's humbling. It's humbling to be part of it, because our work can't be done alone. It's so wonderful to have people around us that help drive our mission forward and take such a event like this on, to again just continue to help fuel our mission and do what we do.
Right. Well, and you guys, when I say you guys, I mean your team at CancerFree Kids. You participate in that golf outing. The CancerFree Kids staff and volunteers are right there at the golf course too. So, do you have an idea? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how many of your own staff and the volunteers for Cancer-Free Kids are out there on that weekend? Do you know the number of people?
Yeah, over the course of the 3 days, I know our entire team is there in some capacity. It might not be all of us over the course of all 3 days, but we divide and conquer, and that's our job, right? Of like I said, the committee does a lot of the heavy lifting in regards to the fundraising and putting the foursomes together, the details of the event that make people love it and want to come back year after year. And so we're on the ground helping execute it on the day of, and the logistics of the auction and those type of things. But so I don't know if I answered your question directly. Our staff team's about nine people, and then we probably have another 15 to 20 volunteers on top of that over the course of the weekend to come in and make sure that everything runs smoothly.
Well, and and I was thinking you guys probably bring out 25, anywhere from 25 to 35 or so people yourself. And my point in asking that question, Jill, is because with the Friday flight, the Saturday flight, and the Monday flight this year, 272 golfers came out.
Incredible.
And incredible. Right, yeah. I mean, in one way, shape, or form or another, they contributed with paying their registration fee to participate, or whether it was a team, like the Loveland Beacon team we sponsor right from Loveland Beacon. But those golfers all come out, and as I said, I've covered it as well as played in it. Covered it forever, just played in it most recently the last few years. But every year, and I know you get the same response because I know you talk to the golfers out there too, but as the journalist covering it, I ask them the question, why do you come out? And 272 golfers say, A, because of the cause. It's for the kids.
Right.
And then B, because it's so much fun. But the first answer is always they come out for the kids. They come out for this cause. They come out for Cancer-Free Kids. You kind of touched on it, and you can't probably say it any better than it is humbling. But how exciting is that? 272 golfers come out and say, we come out for the kids, for Cancer-Free Kids.
You're absolutely right, and that's taking away time from their work, time from their families to come out and support our cause. I think that continues to be what I enjoy the most about my job is being able, it's humbling, it really is, every single day to see people show up for the organization that you work for when they don't have to. They could be doing a million other things. They could be spending dollars a million other ways, but they choose to make that investment in the work that, ultimately they believe in what we do. And that's to ultimately find better treatments for kids with cancer because they're left behind. They're left behind because it's not profitable. There's no money in it. And this incredible group of loyal supporters come back year after year. That's one of, my favorite parts about that day is I see, that's some days, or many of them, that's the only day I see them all year, so it feels a bit like a reunion. But it's just created this wonderful community that, to your point, is just so generous and so committed in making sure that we continue to drive our work forward and are successful in that.
Well, it's a powerful weekend. And I know one of the things, Jill, I wanted to ask you about, and if I get it right, I think Clara was the survivor that you had. Claire.
Yes.
Claire.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I knew I was going to mess that up, but
you're good.
I was working.
Close. You're close.
See, if I took better notes, if I only took better notes, I'm going from memory. So hey, at least I was.
That's pretty good.
But
that's pretty good.
I know even for me personally on Saturday, you get a chance to share the story of Cancer-Free Kids. And that's powerful enough as we stand there before we tee off to hear you share a little bit of the Cancer-Free Kids story. But then when you introduce, and this year it was Claire as one of the survivors, oh my gosh, it's just so powerful. And I know, you and I have talked, aside from right here, right now, I know that means a lot to you to meet the survivors, to meet their families, to be with them, and to be able to, with Cancer-Free Kids, show them and be part of, what is happening, the difference that these donations make for the research that helps these kids on a path to survival, and hopefully, a good, healthy survival. Because I know one of the keys, I'll let you tell this, but about, what do we call it, gentler treatments.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What does that mean?
That's a huge part of it, right? Is that there are, cancer survival rates have improved. There's no, the statistics will show that. But I think what also should be shown is that there's still over 2/3 of those kids are living with chronic conditions the rest of their life. Claire, for example, she had cancer on her liver when she was a baby, and so she's been cancer-free ever since. But and I don't know if you caught it that day, but Claire has significant hearing loss, and she will have that the rest of her life. And she's thriving amazingly despite that, but it's because of her chemotherapy that she received as a baby. And so, there are so many obstacles beyond just surviving, so many obstacles beyond just getting rid of the cancer that I think are oftentimes overlooked. And it's because a lot of the therapies are decades old, and they don't have the more sophisticated technology that you have in the adult space. And, one statistic that we use to showcase that is in adults, there's, hundreds of, I think it's close to 600 FDA approved drugs for adults with cancer. And in kids, there's 35. So, they just don't have the options available, and many of them do cause those chronic side effects. So that's what we mean, and that's what we talk about when we say gentler treatments. And, in fact, just this morning, I got an email update from Dr. Stella Davies over at Children's on a project that we funded a couple years ago at this point, but she told me that they have now treated their first patient, and that patient is doing very well. And that was all around a better, more effective, and gentler option for AML. So, it's those are the stories that, you love and just fire you up every day. And, the families are incredible at getting to meet them, and their strength and their courage and everything that they've gone through, and are supporting our cause for the next family. Unfortunately, that there will be, and so that those things don't happen in the future.
Yes. Wow. Thank you for sharing, especially that information about, the latest success and a treatment that's, being used now and making a difference for a, potential survivor. And that's a great story. So happy to hear that. And again, at the end of the day, going back to June and the Paxtons golf outing benefiting Cancer-Free Kids, the 18th annual, they're already preparing for next year's, and that $85,000 translates to funding more research, right?
It does, and that goes directly into helping us fund the research that we do. Our grants range between $50,000 and $100,000, and we have, a renowned scientific advisory committee choosing, and we're pulling applications from. I'm not sure if you heard that Children's was rated the number one hospital across the whole country, but also number one in cancer. So we're working with two of the best institutions really in the country, and our advisory council pulls the best out, from from those scientists. So we know those dollars are going to be put to good use. And again, it's incredibly inspiring and humbling to know that there are all of these supporters and leaders around us helping to get that done.
Well, Jill, listen, thank you so much for joining us here on Loveland Beacon Talks and sharing.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Trust me, it's our pleasure to have you. But you're most welcome. I'm happy to have you. And, we're going to get together again, I promise. If you're willing, we'll do that again and talk some more about cancer-free kids. But what do you say to, Ralph Dunnigan and the rest of the ownership group from Paxtons and, even Ramsey's, but Paxtons and that golf committee? What do you say to them after receiving that $85,000 check just 2 days ago?
Huge, huge, huge. Thank you. Again, I can't think of another word other than humbling to be in that position. And their just continued loyalty and drive and rigor into making this event such an incredible success. We are so, so grateful to have them on our team and by our side in fueling our mission.
Perfect. Well, once again, that was Jill Brinck, Executive Director of CancerFree Kids, based right here in Loveland, Ohio. Thanks for joining us, Jill. Talk to you again soon.
Sounds great. Thank you, Chuck.